Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel, and I am wiping down. I have gone through, I have tested this machine, I have overhauled it, and as I normally do, most of the time, I am saving the best for last. This is where I go and I basically go to clean any grime or dust, or not really a lot of dust, just old filth, machines. Who knows what happens to them over their lifetimes. And what I'm using now, this does not apply to black sewing machines. Most of the black sewing machines that are vintage they are painted with a chemistry that any amount of alcohol will dissolve. So this only applies to um, the basically the colors that you see here where you don't have decals. If you have decals, you may have a clear coat that could be damaged along with your decals if you have any alcohol. So if you have no decals, you don't have the black finish, what I do is I take about 25% isopropyl alcohol, 25%, and then I mix that with warm water and one or two drops of dishwashing liquid. And you don't have to have a strong one like Dawn. Just any dishwashing liquid will be fine because it doesn't take much. And that combination I find can work really well. And so I basically go over different areas, and I'll just take this is a soft cloth. In fact, I was using it for stitch testing. And these large areas on the machine, I basically will go over and, just most of what I see here sometimes are stains. It could be old oil, it could be old dust, lint, or a combination of all of those. And I'm basically just going over the machine, giving it a wipe down or a clean. Now, if you do this, if you notice anytime you're on a sewing machine, because you can't always know the chemistry of the paint. Remember, paint is a form of chemistry, and different paints have different chemistries. So what you want to do is look at as you're taking your rag over your machine surface, as you're doing so, pick it up and look at it. You should only see dirt. If you start to see any paint, anything that is the color of the machine, I would suggest stopping, because you may not have stripped it, but you may have softened the paint finish, and that's basically the machine giving you a heads up. You might not want to do that. But again, the only way to know, what I would suggest is test it in an inconspicuous area. Okay, so this is the area, for example, on the machine that is normally not seen, because if it's installed in a table, inside a table, you wouldn't see this. Or you could do it on the back, or even any place that is not going to be easily shown, so that if a little paint rubbed, it wouldn't be so much of an aesthetic thing for most people. You might not want to take a chance at all, and just again, you can just use a little dishwashing liquid and water. You don't have to add the 25% of alcohol. But again, that is something that you can try. And if you're a little concerned, you could even go with less, even 10%. Even a small amount of isopropyl alcohol is a good grease cutter, but so is soap. So is liquid soap. So again, always start slow. Go cautiously. Don't go crazy with the strongest thing, because you could end up causing more harm to your sewing machine's paint finish than it is benefiting from. Now, as I'm cleaning this machine, there's a few other things I can do. I can also I can take cotton swabs and I can dip them in my solution of dishwashing liquid and maybe a little bit of a very small amount of isopropyl alcohol, because there are areas in this machine I can't get my rag in, and little crevices here and there that they were totally clean when the machine was new. I don't know if you guys can see here, but there's a little bit of grime in this top rim. If I can get the camera to focus there, it's right here, right in there, just a little line. It's to be expected, and that came right out. So it doesn't take a lot. Usually the paint finishes are, they're they don't get soiled easily. They had a gloss when they were new. Now sometimes you may get a machine that's not glossy. That is usually a sign that someone took something extra strong when they were cleaning it, and which is a good reason for you not to do that. Now, your machine should sew fine, and if you have a dulled finish on your sewing machine, there are products you can use. I've shown some before. I use a car wax, polishing. I think it's a car polish compound and or wax, and I've had good luck with them. But again, every wax has its own chemistry, so you can't generalize and say, well, they're all safe for all finishes. You really don't want to do that. You always use extra caution. You're dealing with something that you've worked hard on, and you know it's a vintage piece, and it could be very special to you. It could have belonged to someone in your family, maybe someone you were very close to. So you want to be gentle, right? And you can, if you try something gentle and it's not working, you can try gradually, slowly increasing the strength of what you're using. But you really want to, as I said before, in every instance, you really want to make sure that you're going slowly and doing it in a inconspicuous area when you're trying to see if something's going to work. And that's really the only way you'll know. That's true with cleaning paint. It is true with applying paints. And I've shown that in the paint repair series. And it's true with, you know, polishing paints. Now, I know that, you know, it may sound like being overly cautious, and maybe so, but what's wrong with that? It doesn't really take any real serious time away to test something, and it's a lot easier to test something than to realize after you've gone over your entire machine you've caused it some sort of damage because you were in a hurry, which goes back to what I said about being in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. That's just true. I have discovered this in cooking and baking things. Get in a hurry doesn't always work out well. I know we don't always have a choice when you're trying to get a meal on, but restoring your vintage sewing machine, it really is a labor of love. Whether you're doing this as a restorer, or for most of my viewers, you're doing it because you want to get, it's your machine and you want to get it back into marvelous condition, and who could blame you? So again, you can take your cotton swabs, and when your cotton swabs get dirty, just replace it. It's just a cotton swab. And here, by the way, for what I'm doing right here, I'm just using a generic cotton swab. I saved those fancy Q-tip precision tips. I saved those for when I really need them because they're a lot more costly. And you could say, well, they're only cotton swabs, but any of you who've watched my channel know I go through a lot of cotton swabs. I'm a cotton swab. I don't know. I sometimes wonder if I go through more cotton swabs than the average person who buys them for, using for whatever else you use cotton swabs for, to be honest. Now, the machine is cleaning up. It's cleaning up quite well. I'm quite pleased with how it's going. Not causing any damage to my paint because I'm not putting anything super strong. And most of what's on the machine is, again, it's old oil, old sewing machine oil, or, mixed in with some lint, or mostly just dust. These machines often get put in places that are dusty, or I'm pretty sure that the original owner often did not do that. It was usually a subsequent owner that did not, they had the machine, they were glad they had it, but they didn't understand what it cost. They didn't have to pay its incredibly high price that it had when it was new. And, they're like, well, okay, I've got this machine and I like it, but if you have anything like this, whether you're going to keep it because you sew, or maybe you're not, maybe you're just going to You know, you want to find a home for it, or maybe you inherited it, maybe somebody handed it, you found it on the curb, who knows? And you say to yourself, well, you know what? I'd really like to maybe sell this. Maybe someone will pay you for it. Well, they will pay you more if you know, you can certainly clean it up. You don't have to be a sewer. You don't even have to know much about sewing machines. Uh, you know, you can go online and learn. You can look at this channel. There are other channels where you can learn about vintage sewing machines. You can always learn from people. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, little felt hiding there. Got a little something on my, I don't know how that happened. Got a little something stuck on the hand wheel, on the top of the hand wheel. Don't have a clue as to what that is. This right here is a little paint nick, but this here is very strange. I don't know if that's an old paint chip that someone touched up. If they did, they had the exact color. Who knows? Maybe they chipped it when it was in 1956. It was only a few years old and they went to Singer. I don't know for sure. If any of you know this, let me know. I wonder if Singer may have had touch-up paint for their machines. I don't know if they sold it. Oh, look, this is coming out. So I think this might just be some really stuck on filthy stuff that's coming off of there. That's nice. That'll be nice to get off of there. Again, I'm doing this patiently. Could I get it off quicker with something stronger? Well, I could. I could also ruin the paint. Patience is a virtue when you're doing work on your machine. All right. Okay. Now, those of you who have watched my channel for a long time, I wonder if you've noticed something. I have not touched up these little areas here on the front. I've decided I'm probably, I don't know, I'm going to think about whether I'm going to try touching these up. You know, I'll have to do some color matching. I'm not sure yet. But there's something here that was forgotten. Do any of you know? Well, I'm going to let you ponder that. And in the next video, I'm going to show you there's something that you should do. It's easy to do, and it's important to do when you're bringing back a machine that has probably not been tended to in a really long time. I appreciate all of you watching my channel. Please subscribe if you have not. And if you have found this channel valuable in any way, please consider donating. You can click on those Buy Me a Coffee links and it'll take you right to my very own Buy Me a Coffee location, and you can donate as much or as little as you feel inspired to do. I really appreciate you following along with me with this Singer 301A. Had a few surprises, but we're getting there. And in the next video, before I do my final test stitching, I've got one last thing to do, but it's important. We'll see you in the next installment.